Hello, friends.
Hi, we're
Hi.
back.
Great. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfect.
Sorry, hi. My phone is talking to us.
That's okay. Got some
Okay,
feedback.
sorry. Yeah, I got it fixed.
Oh,
So I have to apologize in advance to you and everyone else for messing up our schedule and skipping a week.
you
I'm
have
in Texas,
no
so
need.
I'm
No
in
need.
Texas, so it was not the best week for me last time we were scheduled, but I'm here and it's all good and glad to be back.
Yay, we're glad you're back. Yeah, I was gonna just mention that to everybody that you guys in Texas, I'm sure, I mean, you have to live under a rock not to hear what happened down there. So you had a lot going on, and yeah, we just knew it wasn't the right time. So I'm glad
Yep,
things are recouped and back to normal for
back to
sure.
normal-ish. It's always something down here, but here we are.
That's the truth, right? That's the truth. So, yeah, we just wanted to welcome everyone and thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Again, this is Cannabis Live with Heather and Amanda. We'll just give a brief little introduction and then we're going to get started. So, my name is Heather. I am the co-owner of Hempfield Botanicals and Hempfield Apothecary. Um, we are a CBD brand out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And we're also working on some amazing things for our community, all related around cannabis. So we're super excited about that. We'll have some fun things to tell everybody in the upcoming weeks. So we can't wait for that. But yeah, Amanda, I would like to introduce you as well. And if you do want to briefly, just quick again, since we have probably some new viewers, let us know who you are and what you're all
Sure.
about.
So, my name is Amanda. I am a cannabis educator and activist. I'm in Texas, so there's lots of activism to be done for this plant. I am also an esthetician and an herbalist, and I teach cosmetic chemistry. So, Heather and I met almost 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, almost
Yeah,
2 years
right.
ago at doing a CBD, sitting on a CBD panel for a spa and a spa convention. So we were real excited to work together. So we do this every other week. And we love to hear from y'all. What topics do you want?
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about terpenes again, but I really want to know, well, what do you want to hear? We've already covered the difference between hemp and cannabis, and then what is cannabis, and we covered endocannabinoid system and cannabinoids. We covered what are terpenes. We covered a few key terpenes. Last time we did
Asleep.
terpenes for anxiety. Yeah,
Yep,
sleep. No, anxiety last week.
sleep is
Sleep today. And so, what do you want to talk about today? I'm going to kind of throw in a couple of other remedies for sleep that go along with cannabis, but let us know now. We want to say that now so that you have a few minutes, you have 20 minutes just to think about it.
Yep.
Then let us know.
Yeah. So please post your comments or questions in the chat below. Hopefully we'll be able to see them. Sometimes they're delayed a little bit, I noticed. So if we don't respond right away, we will definitely respond afterwards. So yes, please, like Amanda said, let us know what you want to discuss in our next session. We have some ideas, but we also want to, we always want to hear from you, our
Yep.
followers and fans. So let's get started, Amanda. We have some
Okay,
exciting.
so we're going to talk about terpenes and other remedies for sleep. But instead of just throwing all these remedies at you, and this comes from me wearing my cannabis hat on this side and my herbalism hat on this side, when it comes to sleep, we have to sort of determine, well, what's keeping you awake? Why are you not sleeping? Because it could be pain, it could be anxiety, depression, you're worried, you're stressed. It could be hormones, it could be alcohol, it could be caffeine, it could be dehydration, it could be not enough exercise, improper nutrition, things like that. So why are you not sleeping? Because what we want to do, instead of just finding something that knocks you out, because that doesn't always work, and it doesn't always stick. You know, sometimes you, if you're treating something that just knocks you out, then and you have pain, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and still be in pain. So I like to sort of figure out what it is. So I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terpenes that are good for sleep, and they kind of come at you in a different way. So the first one is Nerolidol. So my favorite scent in the whole world is orange blossom and neroli, and that sort of woodsy, jasmine-y scent. I love that. This isn't necessarily my favorite terpene in cannabis because it doesn't help me sleep, but it does help me relax. But as far as the scent goes, this is a beautiful scent. It is found also in ginger and tea tree oil, lemongrass. It's found in some, I just learned this the other day, it's found in some rare Mexican orchid, if you can imagine how fantastic that would be.
Wow.
But it is very sedating. It's not tremendously abundant in cannabis, but it is present, and in low amounts, it's still very effective. So that's really a good thing to know, that if you see it as like a minor terpene in the cultivar that you're looking in, it's usually still really effective even at the lower dose. Another thing that's really cool about this, because Heather and I know skincare, is often Nerolidol is used to create transdermal products. So it's a terpene that can help things be more transdermal. That's not to say that everything that has Nerolidol is now transdermal, because it's honestly, it's found in a lot of cosmetics, but it is a terpene that is used for that. So that's that one. Let's go to everyone's favorite sedating. This, I think, is the most common sedating one. So linalool. So we associate linalool most often with lavender. And yes, it's found in lavender, but lavender is part of the mint family. So it's found in all of your mints, and that would include spearmints and wintergreen and common mints, garden mints, lemon balm. That whole family has linalool, but there is an abundant amount of linalool in lavender. And you know, lavender makes you feel relaxed. So lavender is also anxiolytic and sedating, just like Nerolidol. So that would be really good if you couldn't sleep because of stress and worry and anxiety. It helps your body to sort of slow down, and it helps you to recover from stress and sort of guard against stress affecting you. So it has sort of this stress rebound sort of feeling to it, where you can rebound and deflect the stress. So it protects you, if you will. It is commonly found in cultivars or strains that have the word purple or lavender in it. It's found in lots of Kush varieties. This one slide I thought I would mention, because sometimes I'll use a slide that says vaporizes, temperatures that it vaporizes at. That's worth mentioning, because if you're exceeding that, or tremendously exceeding that, or you're not quite reaching that, then you may not be obtaining that linalool terpene, depending on how you're consuming your cannabis. It is also very, very anti-inflammatory. So that would help if you had discomfort or pain that was keeping you awake. One thing that linalool does is you have an inhibitory neurotransmitter, which is like a protein in your brain called adenosine. And adenosine, when it's present, can help you fall asleep faster. So throughout the day, when you wake up, if you're on just a normal sleep at night, wake during the day schedule, like most of us, throughout the day, that adenosine level in your brain increases little by little by little, which is why at the end of the day, you're sleepy.
Yep.
And so this one helps to raise that level, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is amazing, actually.
Yeah. One more, this one is terpenoline. Terpenoline, it has sort of this very strong sedative effect. It is it's a pretty unusual terpene, or I say it's less common than the previous two and the next two. It's a little less common, but even more so than nerolidol, a little bit goes a really, really, really long way. So if you're able to see the lab reports and the terpene reports of whatever you've purchased, and it says that there's a little in it, just know that a little bit of it is pretty effective. It is found in also in tea tree, but it is also found in lilac and apples, and then some of your warmer spices like nutmeg. I think that terpenoline has a little bit of a dirty smell to it, like a dirt earthy kind of scent to it. So it gives anything that it's in, it gives it like this sort of grounding scent, which you can kind of think about like if you baked I'm a baker, right? So if you bake sweet potato pie and you forgot to put in the nutmeg, it's lost it's lost the depth, right? It doesn't have that grounding. It's too it's almost just too fruity. So think of it like that. This terpenoline acts on your central nervous system. So it acts on your central nervous system to promote drowsiness. So this is a really good one if you had like a lilac scented essential oils or something that was natural. It has naturally derived plant terpenoline. So it's a really interesting one, I think.
Yeah.
What's next?
Next.
Mercene. So Mercene, you know that old hippie trick of eating a mango will make you feel more high. So I don't know if you've heard that. You have, but younger people haven't always heard that.
Yeah.
So I've even heard people mistakenly say that Mercene increases the effects of THC. It doesn't do that. But what it does is on its own is it increases sort of that couch lock or that incredibly sedating heavy feel. Mercene does that. So similar to what THC does, it's not really increasing your THC. It's just offering you more of some things THC can do. So you will find Mercene. It's very abundant in what we commonly refer to as the indica strains. And you know, that's a good topic for us to talk about, because I always say that the word indica or sativa really is just implying sort of an expected feeling or expected result. It's not really a botanically accurate very often. So Mercene gives you that couch lock. It's abundant in your indica strains. It is found in mangoes, of course, basil, thyme, lemongrass. Interestingly, it is found in musk. So, because I'm a nerd, I had to know why when I'm driving in the country and I smell a skunk, does it first smell to me like cannabis?
Yeah.
Or why do we call cannabis skunk sometimes?
Right. Yep.
It's the Mercene. So not to make it I still want this to be an attractive terpene.
Right.
that made it a little disgusting, but there it is.
Yeah.
It is extremely antioxidant, but it's extremely anti-inflammatory and sort of softening to the muscles, because like just the word couch lock implies that you might not be asleep, but you can't get up. Your muscles are just very soft and very cooperative. An essential oil that I really like is Lang Lang. And Lang Lang is the same sort of feeling, right? Just the smell, if you've ever smelled that, just the scent of Lang Lang is very, very grounding. So Mercene is not a hard one to find. And because it is sedating and it is anti-inflammatory, it's a really good, accessible terpene for sleep issues, especially, you know, when they're accompanied by pain.
I always wondered, Amanda, too, with hops, how when you drink beer, I get alcohol is definitely a suppressive, drink. But hops, is there a correlation between? There has to be between the Mercene found in.
For sure. So
Yep.
think of like I love beer, but I don't drink it. I don't drink much alcohol, and I don't do gluten anymore, but I do like beer. And those IPAs that are really, really, really hoppy, they can sometimes have the same alcohol content as a lager or something that's not an IPA.
Right.
But oh my gosh, halfway through I'm yawning.
Yep.
I'm so sleepy. So yeah, the hops, and hops is sort of a distant cousin to cannabis. So it would kind of make sense that myrcene is an abundant terpene in both of them.
Exactly.
I want to do Caryophylline.
Yep, Caryophylline.
So Caryophylline kind of comes up like every time we talk about terpenes, right?
Yep.
It comes up so often because it is a really broad treating cannabinoid. I mean, on this slide it says pain, anxiety, depression, IBS, which would be anti-inflammatory. Also, so IBS is on there individually, but what about other inflammatory conditions, especially gut conditions, and especially if you could consume or eat your beta caryophyllene, because it is so broad for pain, anxiety, mood. It's a mood lifter without being energizing. So like your limonene tends to be a little more physically and mentally uplifting. This is a little bit more just mentally uplifting. So it's anxiolytic, kind of like CBD. It has a lot of similar comparisons, I think, to CBD. And it's the only terpene that we've talked about before. It's the only one that does have an effect on your CB2 receptors, just like CBD. Yeah. So is it a cannabinoid or is it a terpene? I think it's probably both.
A little both.
Yeah. Again, it's in hops, thyme, ginger, basil. We most often think of black pepper, that other hippie trick where if you're too stoned, eat some black peppercorn and it'll bring you down. Perhaps if you ate a whole bunch of them, it would, but now there's a CBD shop on every corner. So just take your CBD because it's that effect of engaging that other receptor. So other than your CB1. Turmeric. Oh, they spelled turmeric wrong. This isn't my slide, so I get to say they spelled turmeric wrong. It's turmeric. It's not turmeric.
Yeah, they did spell that wrong.
But look at like St. John's wort is commonly used for mood lifting. So it's interesting. It's not difficult to find. It is an incredibly heavy, pungent, strong scent. Think of like your kitchen herbs like thyme and ginger and basil, and how we use them in the kitchen for cooking because they're so aromatic. So because beta caryophyllene is so aromatic, I think I mentioned this before. This is fun trivia. This is the terpene that they use to train drug dogs to sniff out cannabis. And that could be hemp, right? Or it could be marijuana, but this is the terpene that they use to train drug dogs on. So
that's interesting.
If you're trying to get through drug dog screening, maybe buy something low in caryophyllene.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
so
I think
funny.
it's interesting that you pointed out that St. John's wort is on the found in list, and how St. John's wort has been used so forever for and mental health disorders.
Right.
So yeah, and I mean, look at chamomile, relax. All of those, black pepper as well. So
right, and all of the things on that list are also really anti-inflammatory. The foods, if you will, they're also anti-inflammatory. I mean, this is really caryophyllene. I can't see why, if we did a different condition every single time we did this, I bet you we could put caryophyllene in there, right? Because it's just, So
definitely.
just to add, I want, yes, those are our terpenes. I could have picked like a few more, but we usually go over and I usually talk too long. So I tried to stick to 5 because there was a few things I wanted to mention also.
Yeah.
Before we had this mainstream knowledge and access to CBD. And then even when it was early, federally legal, and we just kind of started to see more of it available and more quality products, and everyone sort of understood CBD. Before we had the knowledge that we have now, a lot of people were anti-CBD because they would sort of just an ignorance of not knowing what it is. They would say, well, that's just fake weed, or that's not going to get me high, so that's not going to work for me.
Right.
Okay, so maybe it's not going to work for you for certain things, but because it's not intoxicating, it can still help you sleep. It's not sedating, it doesn't make you sleepy. But if I take away your pain and I take away your anxiety, you're going to sleep better.
Yeah.
Right. So I can't fall asleep if my muscles are sore from this big workout I had today, or it may be an injury. I can't fall asleep. Right. So if I take an Advil, or I take some magnesium or something like that, those things don't make me sleepy, but I took away the pain and now I can sleep. So CBD is certainly worth mentioning in for sleep, even though it's not going to make you sleepy. And it's just works very differently than THC. THC is clearly more sedating and more intoxicating. But I'll tell you a funny story about CBD and my mom, because I know she's not watching this. And she started taking CBD for depression and mood. And I tried a couple of different ones before I got her on one. She's using hemp-filled botanicals right now. But she said, "Is this going to make me high?" And I was like, "You wish." I mean, there's if you want to be high, we need to have another conversation, but no, it's not. No. And so after taking it regularly for like 2 weeks or something, she felt great. I kept checking in with her, and she felt really good, and she was happier, and I could hear it in her voice. And she said, "But I know it's making me high. I know you said it's not, but I just feel high all the time, all day long." And I my analysis of that was, if you're depressed and you feel low all the time, and you think this is high, but now I've brought you up to an average, just a medium, just the way that your brain should be working, and it'll feel high.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I think that CBD is sometimes misunderstood for sleep because people dismiss it. And then CBN.
CBN.
So CBN is aged or oxidized THC. So it can be intentionally manipulated to become CBN, or it could be an accident because you forgot that you had this stash, in a jar in your closet. And it is far, 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 far less intoxicating than THC, but it can make you sleepy, and most often makes you sleepy in combination with THC. So most of the time, if your cannabis is oxidized intentionally or unintentionally because of heat or light or time, if that's happened, there's still some THC present. Yeah, there's still some in there. So while THC can make you sleepy and CBN can make you a little sleepy, the combination of the two is greater than the sum of its parts. It's a great combination. So it's not to say you got to let it age so that you can have a little CBN. There are products that have, regulated doses of CBN.
Exactly.
What else? What else are we going to do to sleep? We're going to breathe. We're going to breathe. We're going to get some sunshine. We're going to exercise. There's a lot of herbs. Again, the herbs, the same thing. It's not just, let me knock you out, here's some valerian. It's going to be what's keeping you awake. So is it pain? Because here's some ginger. or is it anxiety? Because there's some passion flower, but there's hops and valerian. I really like ashwagandha for people that chronically can't sleep, because it's just sort of an adaptogen that helps you to regulate your energy. And then vitamins, magnesium.
Magnesium, sure.
You can't underestimate like the power of just a simple anxiolytic, anti-inflammatory magnesium. And you can do that in a bath or a topical, or you can do oral, but it's huge. Most people, just like vitamin D, most people are magnesium deficient. So
yeah, and it's amazing what all those deficiencies, just like endocannabinoid deficiency, you know, how that all wreaks havoc within your body. And I love how you had mentioned that, you know, I always say this to people too, like, you know, what issues are you having? Are you lack of sleep? Well, what is keeping you from? Is it pain? Is it the anxiety? So it's kind of like trying to find that, you know, that specific cause and then treating that specific cause instead of just doing something like a blanket overall treatment.
Right,
and
right.
you know, you said all of those different things like healthy sleep hygiene, you know, turning down your, you know, all your electronic devices an hour before you go to bed, and you know, all of that good sleep hygiene types of things are so beneficial as well. So there's a lot of things that people can use and keep in their tool belts to help with different sleep conditions. So
yeah, when I've noticed a lot of times, and I talk to, as an esthetician, I talk to, you know, the same people every month. I have a pretty regular clientele, and I've noticed something, because we'll talk about skin, right, and
right.
overall health and dehydration and things like that. I've noticed something that people think doesn't affect them, but it does, is caffeine.
Oh yeah.
Because they think, well, I'm sleepy, so the caffeine doesn't affect me. Even though I had caffeine today, I'm sleepy. But then it's affecting the quality of sleep.
Yeah, sleep patterns.
It for sure does me. I'm a real cheap date when it comes to lots of things, and caffeine and alcohol and cannabis, all of that, but and dehydration is a big one too. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. The thing that's the hardest to regulate is when your hormones are keeping you awake. Am I right?
Yes,
It's like, that's the hardest one to regulate. And to be blunt, that's when you need the herb that's just gonna, the herb or the cannabinoid or the terpene that's just gonna really sedate you.
Yeah.
Because we can only, if it's a healthy hormonal sort of fluctuation, a normal hormonal fluctuation, we can't do a whole lot about it. But you know, overall health and lots of plants can help that.
That's for sure. Oh, Amanda, you're amazing. You're
Amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, you are just, I always look forward to chatting with you on our
Me too.
Yeah, it's so fun.
I wish that sometimes people could hear our little 15 or 20-minute chat before we go live.
Yes.
Then they'd really see what we're like, right?
Yeah. Well, they
might not.
awesome.
I mean, just so y'all know, when it's like 5 till, one of us says, I gotta pee, and then the other one says, I gotta pee too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's awesome. Well, we are super excited to come back next time and chit chat with everybody. That is going to be on Wednesday, March 17th.
Oh, that's St. Patrick's Day.
I was just gonna say, I believe that's St. Patrick's Day. So that's exciting. But yeah, we'll be back at March 17th, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We were chit-chatting about what we're going to talk about. I know we said this in the beginning, so we're going to go look on the chats. Some of them are coming through, but we're going to just double check and then check back in. We always try to schedule the live stream a few days in advance, but just mark your calendars for the 17th and we will be here.
Yeah, and if anybody has any suggestions, then let us know. Even if it's something you think we've touched on, maybe we can dive a little deeper. At some point, I didn't mention this to you yet, but at some point, I think we should talk about topicals and skincare and how cannabinoids work in the skin. So
I would love that for sure. As an esthetician, same as you. I
Yeah.
think it would be fantastic. So
Yeah.
sounds good. All right. Well, we are going to sign off for this evening. Again, check back in 2 weeks. Don't forget to follow our pages to make sure that you get notifications when we go live. So make sure you're up to date on that. And we will see you all in 2 weeks. Bye,
Bye,
all.
everyone.
Toodles. Be safe.